So today we're making dirt substrate. This is a little bit of a messy process, so I do this down in the garage. So if you hear some cars going by or something like that, I apologize. So I'll tell you what the process is. We're gonna mix the dry ingredients. We measure them out. There are 250 milligrams of Coco Coir. There's 1 quart jar heaping full to the top with coarse vermiculite. And we take the 2 of those and we mix them together with 2,500 milligrams of boiling water. I put it into a 5-gallon bucket, and then I put a lid on top of the bucket. And I let after about an hour, I'll stir it. I wait about an hour before I'll do the first stir. I'll give it a stir, and then I'll leave the lid on it overnight for 24 hours. And then 24 hours after, so this is a pasteurization process. So 24 hours afterwards, it's ready to go, and we'll put it on. We'll actually inoculate the dirt tomorrow with our grain spawn. All right, so step 1 is to measure out our Coco Coir. Coco Coir usually comes in a brick like this. It's compressed. I like to break mine up. I like to break it up and put it down into small pieces like this. That way when the water hits it, it all breaks apart evenly. I've noticed that if I leave it in big chunks, that sometimes it doesn't break apart. It's real hard to stir. So I always break mine up into little pieces. We're looking for 250 milligrams. So this has already been pre-weighed out. So I've got my 250 milligrams. Go ahead and dump that into my 5-gallon bucket. Take my full jar, my 1 quart jar, heaping full of coarse vermiculite. I dump that in. That's all there is to it. That's all the ingredients for our substrate, besides the water. So we'll film the rest of that once we get the water boiled. All right, so we already mixed our dry ingredients, which was 250 milligrams of Coco Coir and a full quart jar heaping full of coarse vermiculite. So now we need to add our 2,500 milligrams of boiling water. So first things first, we'll add our water, which is pre-measured out. I'm just going to bring this water to a boil, and then I'm going to add it to my dry ingredients. I'm going to put a lid on it for an hour, and then once an hour is up, then I'm going to give this a stir, mix everything together real good. Then I'll put the lid back on it, and then I'm going to let it sit for 24 hours. All right, we got our water boiling. Now we're going to add it to our dry ingredients. Put the lid on top of there for an hour, and then we're going to come back in an hour and we'll give it a stir. We're going to put the lid back on, and then we're going to let it sit for 24 hours. All right, so it's been about an hour. I'm going to go ahead and give everything a stir. Put the lid back on, and we're going to let it sit for 24 hours. And then as soon as the 24 hours is up, we'll be able to put the grain spawn on it.